Chevrolet spelled out across the grille. No bow tie in sight. This truck runs a suspension damper technology GM has never certified for factory HD duty before, borrowed straight from motorsport. And I'm saving the explanation for later in this video. Stay with me, because that detail is the whole reason this truck exists. As for the price question, my answer depends entirely on whether you're chasing maximum torque numbers or maximum trail composure at speed, because those are two very different trucks to own. We're covering the exterior, stepping into the cabin, then breaking down the powertrain specs that actually matter. But first, the backstory, because this truck didn't come out of a normal product planning cycle. It came out of something far more specific than that. Everyone's eyes go straight to those 37-inch tires. That's not the engineering story. The real story is the damper technology underneath. Multimatic spool-valve shocks, factory-calibrated for sustained high-speed impacts without heat fade. A standard twin-tube shock cooks itself on a long washboard trail. This one doesn't because the valving controls oil flow instead of resisting it. Ram's Power Wagon still runs conventional monotube dampers at this price point. Terrain-compensated spool valve. Onboard sensors read wheel speed and impact frequency, adjusting internal valve resistance corner by corner in real time. The logic is straightforward. Fixed valving is a compromise. Adaptive valving isn't. It closes the gap between surviving washboard trails and controlling them at speed. Step inside, and this truck makes a very different argument. The seats were perforated leather with a diamond quilt pattern and blue contrast stitching that feels closer to a Sierra Denali Ultimate cabin than a work truck bench. That's intentional, not incidental. The seat memory buttons sit on the door panel, not buried in a touchscreen menu, so multiple drivers can set position before they even climb in. On a job site with rotating drivers, that's real-time saved every shift. Ram still routes memory settings through the seat itself. Live chassis telemetry display. The portrait screen shows yaw angle, off-road tilt, and tire status in 4LO as it happens, not after the fact. Drivers running unfamiliar trails don't want to guess their approach angle. They want to see it. It closes the gap between feeling capable and knowing exactly how capable. Missed the mark. Those seat adjustment switches sit low on the outboard cushion, forcing a reach down while driving. Ford and Ram both mount theirs higher on the door for reach without looking away from the road. The exterior is where that competitive intent gets loud. Here's what actually triggered this. Ram's Power Wagon has run factory-locking front and rear differentials with a disconnecting front sway bar for years now, and GM simply had no HD answer at the factory level. The brief wasn't build a nicer Silverado HD, it was close that exact gap before another loyal buyer cross-shopped away for good. Every single panel on this truck traces back to that one gap. Front bumper, integrated auxiliary lighting and recovery-rated mounting structure engineered into the frame rails, not a styling add-on. Grille header, a full-width LED light bar built into the shut line, functional for low-light trail work at higher speeds. Fenders, widened flares housing the geometry for factory 37-inch tires without the lift kit compromises that plague aftermarket setups. Wheels, matte black off-road wheels wrapped in aggressive mud terrain rubber, filling the arch with zero gap at full articulation. Rear, a full-width LED light bar with an embossed Chevrolet tailgate and integrated recovery points built directly into the bumper structure. Load path engineering like that spool valve suspension holds its value for years. Bolt-on lift kits don't. None of that stance matters without the numbers behind it. Engine, 6.7-liter Duramax turbo diesel V8, 470 horsepower, 975 pound-feet of torque. Allison 10-speed automatic, 4-wheel drive. Those numbers won't out-torque a Power Wagon's diesel, but they'll out-horsepower it and out-control it on genuinely broken terrain. Predictive load sensing diff lock. The same wheel and terrain sensors from speculative tech number 1 feed the locking differentials, engaging automatically before wheel slip instead of waiting for a driver to flip a switch. It's the exact gap Ram's manually engaged TrueLock system leaves open on fast-changing terrain. It removes driver reaction time from the equation entirely. Ram's Power Wagon wins outright torque, 1,075 pound-feet to this truck's 975. Ford's Super Duty Tremor wins factory ground clearance on paper, at least officially. Neither one automates its differentials the way this truck does. Engineering case closed. Now the money question. Now here's what I actually think, completely straightforward. That Power Wagon rivalry explains nearly every decision on this truck. The spool valve dampers, the automated locking differentials, even dropping the bow tie for a bolder, more confident word mark. Whether GM actually closed the gap depends entirely on whether you personally value outright torque or all-around trail control more. Expect this configuration to land around $84,000. Ram's Power Wagon starts near $73,250 with more torque on paper but manually engaged hardware and no adaptive damping to back it up. And the standard gas Silverado 2500 HD starts around $48,695. So you're paying roughly $35,000 for the diesel, the suspension architecture, and the automated off-road systems layered on top. On residual value, factory-engineered suspension hardware like Multimatic dampers has historically held up better at trade-in than bolt-on lift kits, because it shows up as a documented build code on the window sticker, not an aftermarket modification a dealer has to appraise blind. Plan on a 4 to 5 year hold, and this configuration should depreciate more like specialized equipment than a styling package. If you actually run broken terrain at speed on a regular basis, this is the smarter buy over a Power Wagon. If maximum towing torque is your only real priority, Ram still wins that number outright, no argument there. This truck earns its premium through automated chassis control, not raw torque figures on a spec sheet. That missing bow tie I opened with? It's GM telling you this truck isn't chasing status. I'd genuinely love to hear from anyone who's run a Power Wagon or an existing ZR2 Bison hard on washboard trail. How did the suspension hold up all day? Next up, this ZR2 FORCE against that Power Wagon spec for spec. Subscribe so you don't miss it. $84K for this Duramax ZR2 FORCE or $73K for the Power Wagon? Drop your call below.